Welcome to Sri Lanka. This island off the coast of India has long been on my bucket list for loads of reasons, like having the best safari outside of Africa, boasting 8 UNESCO World Heritage sites to explore, and lots of lovely, gorgeous beaches, complete with idyllic white sand and crystal clear water that's perfect for surfing. In fact, for an island about a quarter of the size of the UK, there's loads to see and do, depending of course on what you want out of your trip. Coming up, I'm going to tell you about getting here, some tips on transport, then some stuff on food, money and language, and some awesome places to visit. So, let's get on with it. We flew 10 hours direct from Heathrow to Colombo, which is Sri Lanka's capital city. Flights arrive at Bandaranaike International Airport, which is 30 kilometres north of the city. Taxis are very cheap in Sri Lanka, and this can be the easiest and certainly quickest way to reach your destination from the airport. If you're heading straight into Colombo, you can catch the express bus, which takes about 25 minutes. But to be honest, the taxis are so cheap, it's a no-brainer. To enter the country, you're going to need a visa. Now this can be done when you get here, but after 10 hours in the air, why bother with the extra admin? Get it done before you leave. Applications cost $35 and take around 24 hours to process. Also, you're going to need to make sure that your vaccinations are up to date, like your tetanus and typhoid. Check with your GP beforehand. What do you need to know about public transport in Sri Lanka? Well, in all honesty, quite a bit. Public transport conditions aren't great, but are popular with locals as it's very cheap. Buses tend to leave when they're full, so for anyone on a schedule, we'd give them a miss. Also, trains are often slower and less efficient than simply getting a taxi. My advice? Take anything described as luxury or express with a generous pinch of salt. The key thing in Sri Lanka is that your money goes a long way. For example, our 2-hour taxi from Colombo to UNAWATUNA cost 9,000 rupees, which is actually about 40 quid. So for this reason, we made the most of getting around with private car hire and tuk-tuks. Hiring a driver to chauffeur you around is surprisingly affordable and, let's face it, way more luxurious. It's also a big time saver, which is a massive bonus. The roads are in surprisingly good condition. Just watch out for the tourists, the cyclists, buffalo, stray dogs and massive lizards. They all make it a little hair-raising at times. We used Uber to navigate Colombo and red cabs for everywhere else. Failing that, you could always haggle for a tuk-tuk, which are ideal for quick journeys. There are a couple of things you need to know before you start off. Number 1, always agree the price before setting off. And number 2, be direct about where you want to go. Don't settle for any detours or any other places they might want to take you. Anyway, up next, here are some of my favourite things to do in Sri Lanka. UNAWATUNA is loved by locals and tourists alike. And with palm trees, white sands and blue waters, it's easy to see why it's one of Sri Lanka's most popular beaches. Right behind the beach is a small shopping strip for souvenirs and restaurants. And ladies, going topless on the beach is a definite no-no. And if you're a couple, make the P in PDA stand for private, not public. Okay, newsflash. Sri Lanka has the best safari outside of Africa since the country has one of the highest rates of indigenous plants and animals in the world. UDAWALAWE National Park is a personal highlight of mine and home to some 200 different species. If you're looking for elephants, it's the best place to see wild ones, especially early in the morning and later afternoon when they're avoiding the midday heat. If you're looking for stunning views and clichés about breathtaking scenery, take a look at this. Ella is gorgeous. Really take the time to explore the area's natural beauty and ample vista points. Of course, no trip to Ella would be complete without stopping by 9 Arches Bridge for a selfie. As you can see, the train is super loud. We took the iconic 6-hour train journey from Ella to Kandy, and since we've already established that you don't get trains for speed and convenience, it's all about the views. Fares are really cheap, and upgrading to first class with allocated seating and ceiling fans genuinely won't make an impact on even the most stringent of budgets. Just bear in mind that tickets can only be purchased on the day of travel, so arrive early to avoid disappointment. Remember what I said earlier about having realistic expectations? Well, at one point we passed through a storm, and our first class carriage leaked. Bear in mind that Sri Lanka has a tropical climate, and this rain lasted for hours. Our seats and bags were soaked. So yeah, the trains aren't comfortable, but they're certainly an experience. When you get to Kandy, visit Sri Malagawa, the temple of the sacred tooth relic. It's a beautiful temple that houses a tooth which belonged to the Buddha. To enter the site, you'll need to cover up appropriately and remove your shoes. Dambulla is famous for its epic rock cave temple, which is filled with huge Buddha statues. Here's what you need to know about visiting this important holy place. Posing for pictures with the Buddha is frowned upon because it's custom to never have your back to him. And, as with all temples, Buddhist or Hindu, guests must be appropriately dressed. Take off your shoes and any headgear and make sure that legs and shoulders are covered. If in doubt, follow the locals and do what they do. Speaking of locals, these cheeky chaps will swipe even the most well-hidden snack, so don't leave your bag unattended. Also in Dambulla is Sigiriya. It's an ancient temple at the top of a mountain carved out of the bedrock. It's also called Lion Rock because of the giant paws that guard the entranceway. Now, if tourists aren't your thing, and let's face it, they can be quite annoying, you might want to check this out instead. PIDURANGALA. It's less well known but offers stunning views of the main attraction. It's also significantly cheaper at 500 rupees rather than the 7,500 at Sigiriya, though I will say the climb is definitely not for the faint-hearted. Go around 4:30 in the afternoon and make it for sunset. POLONNARUWA is divided in two parts, the new and the old, and it's the old town which is made up of the ancient ruins of the royal city, which put me in mind of a Sri Lankan equivalent to the Roman Forum in Italy. It's a great place to pretend to be Lara Croft and spend the day exploring the hundreds of ancient tombs, temples and statues. This is Colombo. What you need to know is it's big and it's busy. There's lots to see and do here. But what's great about it is you can start spending on your card, there's Uber to get around, and there are fast food restaurants that you might recognise from home. Fast food isn't for everyone.
Hurry and run.
So for something more authentic, this stopover city is the perfect place to sample traditional Sri Lankan cuisine. They're really good. Food is always a big appeal to my travels, and there's plenty of it here in Sri Lanka, with my personal highlight being egg hoppers and a side of breathtaking view in Ella. Another delight was the street food in Kandy. So I'm here in a very noisy Kandy, just bought some street food from the market. Got a really long journey later, so I'm going to snack on these on the way up, but I couldn't resist having a little bite of this vegetable roll. Which is really good. I met up with my friend Asuru to try some of his favourites.
And this here is dal, and then posambol, which is made out of coconut scrapes, a bit of lemon in it, and some green chili. So this is like authentic Sri Lankan way, not made for you. So be careful.
Okay. Be spicy.
Yeah. Okay. If you just show this to a Sri Lankan person as this could be like Sri Lankan breakfast. People think, oh, you're having breakfast.
It's a breakfast.
But yeah, the more you add, like more items you add, or the more you add, like white rice, it could be your lunch.
Okay, so the meals get bigger as the day goes on.
Yeah.
Wow. We talked some more about food, and then Asura taught me how to eat like a real Sri Lankan.
Like lower this point, you shouldn't touch foot.
Between
so it's like mostly you touch foot from from the top. Yeah, fingertips. And my mother always like shout at me if I put foot like
dirty
everywhere.
Hands.
Yeah, dirty hands. So that's the only rule that is given by parents. So other than that, you can mix and match anything and eat.
Does it matter what hand you use? Like, I'm right-handed, but if
mostly like people eat from right hand.
Like shaking your hand would always be your right hand.
So right hand would be the eating hand as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was really good. It's really spicy. It's really tasty.
It's really spicy, and that's one reason that I love it, because I love spicy food.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah.
Shall we carry on?
Yeah, we should.
But we're going to catch up in a little while to talk about some language.
Yeah.
So we're going to carry on eating, and I'll see you in a bit.
We do have two main languages, which is Sinhalese and Tamil.
Sinhalese and Tamil.
Yeah, Sinhalese is the most spoken language in Sri Lanka. Karunakara is like please.
Karunakara.
But but you can use please also.
Please.
Yeah. But then thank you is very nice thing to say all the time. So stuti.
Stuti.
Yeah, stuti.
Stuti.
Yeah, you can make anyone happy by saying stuti.
I'll remember that.
Yeah, stuti.
Stuti.
And then as in any country, we also do have like our welcome phrase, which is called Ayubowan.
Ayubowan.
Ayubowan. And when you say Ayubowan, you usually like put your hands together and say Ayubowan, like with a little bow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, Ayubowan is like, even there are images in the airport, like in many other places, with this sign, which usually means Ayubowan or welcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also say, you know, mostly when a guy sees another guy, you know, there's this like phrase that we use called machang.
Machang.
Yeah.
Machang.
So you can also say like, hey machang.
Hey Machang.
So you get into a tuk-tuk, you say hi, and then there's a tuk-tuk driver in front and you're in the back, and then you want to go straight first.
Okay.
So you say Kelin Yanna.
Kelin Yanna.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Kelin Yanna. So left please would be like Vamata and Dakunata.
Dakunata.
Yeah, Dakunata is to your right.
To your right.
Yeah, Vamata and Dakunata. And then, or you can say also Ho Nawatana. Nawatana is like stop, but that's longer.
Okay.
So if you just say like ho, it's
Ho.
yeah, that's
Ho.
stop. Yeah, stop. Yeah.
And how do I say goodbye?
It's usually bye, but
Bye.
when we say see you again would be Navata Hamuemu.
Navata Hamuemo.
Yeah.
So, on that note,
Yeah.
Stuti
Stuti.
and Navata Hamuemo.
Yeah, Navata Hamuemu.
There we go. Thank you very much for that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Fortunately, English is widely spoken and will be used in most public or commercial environments. Thanks again, Asura, for your help. Now, let's talk money. The currency here is the Sri Lankan rupee. It's a closed currency, which means you can only get money when you're here. Now, you have to change it up, but if you've got Scottish or Irish pound notes, they won't be accepted, so bear that in mind. One thing to remember is that cash is much more useful than your bank card, particularly when you're in more rural areas. So here's a breakdown of what we spent. Return flights with Sri Lankan Airways cost £468 per person. Worldwide travel insurance with holiday extras costs £16. 3 hours in the #1 lounge at Heathrow, also with, you guessed it, holiday extras, cost £32 each. A guest room in Dambulla costs £40 per night. This street food in Kandy was 145 rupees. That's about 66 pence. This authentic Sri Lankan curry was 400 rupees. 1.5 litres of bottled water costs around 95 rupees. And while we're talking water, the bottle must be sealed and definitely don't drink from the tap. Entrance to the cave temple in Dambulla, 1,500 rupees. Elephant safari at UDAWALAWE National Park was 17,000 rupees each. Donations? When visiting free religious sites, we suggest 500 rupees. If you're planning to spend your remaining rupees in duty-free, bear in mind that they only accept American dollars, so make sure you change them up before going through security. For up-to-date exchange rates, you can check xe.com or download their app. And as our time in Sri Lanka comes to a close, make sure you subscribe for more awesome travel guides. So, that's it for Sri Lanka. I have had an amazing time. We've explored the country, we've gone on safari and seen wild elephants, I've eaten far too much food, and I'm now going to go home and tell all of my friends and family to just come and do the same. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to go and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.